Evening, everyone. Welcome to Season 6 of the Dark Helmet Racing League's GTD season. Round 3 tonight. We're at Msano, and the Auto Steward was busy, and so was everyone else. Lots of incidents to go through here, and might be here for a while, so let's get to it. That was just a racing incident. Just this one. Oh. Okay, so this one, yes, overlap it compared to our rules and everything. The overlap started after the turn in. So from turn in to apex is when the overlap starts. So it should be more on the car behind to do so safely. In this, let's keep an eye on the distance to the BMW ahead to the Porsche. They keep the same distance. The red Porsche here slows down. This is a very, very, very tight line through here where speed has to be taken through the curb for you to actually stay on the racing line. Otherwise, you're off into the marbles a little bit. So this is more on the red Porsche here, just over slowing the corner. And like, if the Porsche would have lifted, he'd been driven over by the Mustang, which would have been driven over by the car behind him. It's just a racing incident here. Like, we roll it through. Not much the Porsche could do. Yes, technically, to our regulations here, the white line of track edge is the track limit here. But this track, the majority of the time, and the racing line is inside of that. So we have our rules, and then we have to take in the situation of what track we're racing at and how the track races. So here, we're going to call the inside of the curb the racing line, or the edge of the track, because that's where we get our off tracks if you go all the way to the inside of that. So we'll call that the track edge, because that's what iRacing is enforcing. So the Porsche, the white black Porsche hasn't cut the track, and the contact's made. So this one, they both spin, and I'm gonna leave this one as a racing incident. Same with that one, and same with this one. And Troy, I think, is the other one in this. How was Jeremy involved in another one? Let's go find that. So after he rejoined, which looked safe, he involved in that other spin and everything that was happening. Okay. All right, so Mooney blinks a bit here in the Mustang. All right, so that looks okay. So here we have Mooney just exits, gets into the 20 here, and then gets kind of stuck with him. Ends up getting off him there. But where do the brake lights come off? So there's braking there, and then no more braking, just coasting. So this may be more. So this is apex to exit. Drivers with overlap at apex will be required to maintain control and leave one car width to the exit of the corner. Cars initiating overlap on corner exit will not be subject to the overlap passing rules and are doing so at their own risk. So this is more for the car on the outside on how that's written. But here, there was no overlap at apex. It's lap one, cold tires. So the contacts, avoidable contact 2.5. But if what caused the rest of this was not hitting the brakes to get off, like to try to slow this car down, it's almost like he was trying to push him back straight, which this ended up taking a bunch of other people out. So this is going to be two separate notes in the notice here. Why is it hidden? Why is it doing that? Why does it keep on jumping in behind here? And then I can't get to it. All right, let's do this down here. Let's see where it goes. Notice I'm just behind on this one too. Not sure why my own software is trying to be a pain in the ass tonight. So I might not be able to document it in here, but I'll put it in our other points stuff for now. So that'll be driver of the 70, vital contact 2.5, as well as driver of the 70 to hold brakes. The braking would have helped here to lessen the incident for everyone else. So that's just a 1 point for the braking there. Since my software is just acting up tonight, everything's going to be just noted for these in my software on the report, but in the actual Discord, when I post that, it'll have everything broken down. Okay. So I think Jeff Peters here is one of the innocent victims. Nope. There was an incident happening there too. Who was that got into him? Alex. Is this one? Which then he has bigger contact here as he gets. So Alex is going to get one for the incident with Jeff for the similar thing that we needed, 2.5 for vital contact. So Alex is the 401. Vital contact 2.5. And Christian definitely was the one that got spotted at the very beginning. William is 100% the innocent victim. All right, we're still not done lap one. On to the next one. Watch the rejoin. Should be fine. I think Patrick was the one that was going around the outside and got clipped. Yep. It's like it gave him a good bit of damage. Didn't give him meatball though. Wrong one. Nope, that's the right one. Christian was just trying to get the car back there, and it's too badly damaged. Hey, we're done lap one. So here, James had spun, and to see to rejoin the track, you rejoin by reversing across the track to get going again. Mooney was coming, he had to do avoidable actions, so because there was avoidable action needed, it's going to be a penalty as well. And that is the 214. Improper rejoin, which is at 2.5. We have runner spin in, unfortunately, from the lead. So that's how what should have been done with the James one. So not crossing the complete race surface. He just reverses enough to be able to pull forward and turn again. So that's a fine rejoin. So no action. Mooney ran pretty much all of the sprint with no rear wing, which must have been lots of fun. Good decision on the rejoin. Yes, in this case, I had to use him as a reason what you should do, but I'll keep that in mind for next time. So let's just double check that there was no help here with Troy. The rejoin was fine. I just want to double check why he spun. Oh, look, it's our friend Renner. Like we just talked about him. No contact, though. Just, almost took Renner with him, but no contact. Hey, we finally finished the sprint. All right, now on to the feature. Lap 1 of the feature was a lot better. We only have one incident right near the end of the lap, which is a blink and a contact. But luckily not involved with anybody else. So, no action. I don't know if there was contact. I couldn't see it. No action. And then Ryan. Ryan had a really rough night. And to be honest, the Auto Steward took it out on him, but it looks like he, and you'll see later, just got the short end of the stick. Not necessarily his fault for this incident, and definitely for the one later as well. So you got two cars on the inside fighting, squeezing each other, and then he doesn't necessarily, Ryan here doesn't necessarily notice that there's still a three wide. So he goes to arc in, hoping that the car would be closer to the actual racing line, which would be on the green stuff basically, which is where the other Mustang is, and unfortunately they needed more space than that, and he rattled off them. But this is pure racing incident. This is no one's fault. This is just everyone racing hard. The two Mustangs start trying to give each other room here, and Ryan and the Porsche on the outside. I wasn't aware of how much room they were going to give each other, and got involved in the incident there. So, racing incident for me. There's also another incident that's happening at the same time in a different part of the track. All right. So it looks like James is trying to get out of the way here and took Mooney a little bit by surprise. This is, again, just a racing incident. It's not really a place where you would expect somebody to be slowing, and Mooney was trying to go to the inside. That's where James had put his car. So, racing incident. This is the other half of this. Well, let's just make sure any rejoins are done safely. But he goes straight to the pits. Unfortunate there. This is the other half of the one with Mooney. All right, so this is a battle that went on for a couple corners here. Corvette behind. Gets a good exit, gets down the inside. Not a lot of space was given at the first apex. At the second one, just enough space was given. Because here we have the larger curbs below the red and white curbs. You really need to stay off of. So was a car width given at apex, and then when is a car width given at exit? So here There's been overlap every phase of the corner so far. So at the braking point, they were basically equal. Braking point, okay. At the braking point, they weren't on overlap. The overlap started during the braking phase, but before turn in. So turn in happens now. There was good overlap to apex. So just enough room given at apex. Exit, does the Corvette leave enough room to the edge of the track? No. So this is on the Corvette. This would be an avoidable contact 2.5, and we're going to do the same penalty we did for the sprint because he's still not braking. Watch the brake lights of the Corvette. At no point do they come on. Because there's what brake lights look like on a Corvette. So same penalty. We're going to do a 2.5 for the avoidable contact, and then a 1 point for failing to hold brakes. Okay. And so we're consistent. Noted with Jeff. Just make sure Jeff's rejoin is good. Which it is. Waits for a gap, gets through. So noted. James. To spin. Not worried about that one because nobody had to do avoidable action. So this has got 2 in it as well. So the Mustang, the driver of the 70, avoidable contact 2.5 with the Corvette. But I'm not worried about the braking here because he's trying to accelerate away. What I am worried about is the rejoin. So the edge of the track here is the racing line for where he is, and there is a car coming. So I don't think the car behind had to do any avoidable driving, but let's double check. It was very close to being contact. So in this case, yeah, we're going to do a bit more. Back into here. Back to the driver of the 70. Improper rejoin, which is another 2.5. We can't join without any care to the cars behind. Let's go to double check the other car that was involved in this. Make sure they're rejoining nicely. So here, the difference between the two, and there is a difference. Like, so Mooney in the Mustang gets onto the green part here, and if he would have stayed on the green part all the way out here, would have been the safer thing to do. The Corvette's in the gravel. The Corvette doesn't have grip. He's trying to accelerate out to try to get going, and he loses control. Like, that movement is not what he wants to do. Yes, if Mooney would have stayed on the green here, he probably would have hit the Corvette, but the Corvette may not have even been able to go there. So we can't act on what's going to happen. We have to act with the intention to do the right thing overall. So this is out of control. This was in control, is the difference between the two. So this isn't an unsafe rejoin. This is a driver out of control rejoining the track, trying to gain control. If there was a car here that he had impacted, it would definitely be a penalty because you need to be in control when you rejoin. But there is no car behind. So technically, at this point, there is no impeding of another car. This was impeding of another car. So it's very, very close, very, very similar of an incident, but one has a penalty and one doesn't. Okay. So noted and noted. Then we have another 2x for James. What caused what? The contact? Yeah, he got a 2.5 for the contact. So what caused it? He definitely got a 2.5 for the actual contact with the Corvette at the beginning. If that's what you mean. Another spin. Good rejoin there. Let's make sure that isn't closer than it seems. So let's go to the car behind. Go into cockpit and just make sure that nothing was super scary here. Not outwardly. Slight little avoidance with steering, but you can see that there was definitely a car width here, and the McLaren had stopped, so no action. 35 minutes in, we get another incident here. So that's just a racing incident. So remember earlier I was talking about Ryan got the short end of the stick here, so this is just a racing incident, and the exact reverse of this is what gets him his next one and actually gets him a drive through at the end of it, which is unfortunate because it's just everyone breaking at a slightly different spot to each other. So contacts made, nothing major, just a racing incident. We lost control. Christian ended up getting an off track for it. They both got an off track for it, but not a big deal. They ran ads on mine. Nice. Didn't even know it was making ad revenue. That's good to know. Yeah, Phil, I was hoping you would do more off track so you could get the drive through like Morgan, but you didn't. So yeah, you were on it tonight. Good driving. This was. Let's double check this. I don't think this was anything, and the rejoin would have been fine. Yep. Oh, yeah, I should definitely run ad revenue on this for the length of this damn thing. And then right near the end, Brandon got into Ryan. I think this is on the fight for the last lap. Yep. So that'll be a 2.5 for Brandon for avoidable contact. I think he already knows that. Okay. It's that one. Let's just double check Ryan here. Yep, everything's good on that, so noted. And then this is how Ryan got his race ended, which I know why he'd be frustrated on that one. So this is again a racing incident, but this generated a drive-through for Ryan. Actually, I may change my mind on the racing incident. Was that charging? Was this slower than it should have been? What was going on? Okay. So the three Porsches here, one Porsche is trying to let them by. The blue Porsche is a little spooked and overslowing a little bit. The uh, green and black or gray Porsche here was a little shocked on it, and the Lamborghini for Nathan, I think, is just caught off by how much it slowed down. This is a fight all for position here on the last lap. So yes, this is a racing incident, and unfortunately, that gave Ryan his drive-through and all of his 4Xs. There was nothing in any of them. They were all racing incidents. So Auto Steward was a little harsh on Ryan tonight. That's part of having automation run things here that we don't control. But at the same time, other people could have the same kind of incidents happening. So it's fair for everyone. It's the same thing. So unfortunate for him that he got a drive through right as the race finished. Like literally, he had already passed pit entrance by the time he got the drive through. So, and that is it. Lots of things to review tonight. Lots of fun. Next week we are at Magny-Cours in the rain. That'll be fun. Can't wait to review all those as well. Thanks, guys, for hanging out, and we'll see you next week.